Thank you.
All right, call the meeting to order, May 12th. Started.
Yes, having a start. And recording is.
Okay. Motion to approve the agenda.
I'd like to add just a brief suggestion with respect to one meeting, one.
Yeah, I've got it. In old business, or you wanna,
It's nothing special. So whatever.
yeah. Had that, and a couple other things in old business, so we can,
When anyone, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay. Anything else?
I've got a couple of things that will bring up, either new business or, public comment, especially as Suzanne's here. It's nothing that, has to be, brought up as far as part of the agenda, it's just something for, future action.
Yep. And I've got one other thing I'll bring up in new business. Okay, other than that, approval. Motion,
So move.
all in favor?
Second, and
Okay, second, okay, you first, Derek second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Approval of the April 14th minutes. Have a chance to look at those. Motion to accept those minutes. I'll make the motion.
Yeah.
First, second. All those in favor?
I,
Aye. Opposed? Special meeting minutes.
that's a question. I was hoping to bring a pretty copy with me tonight. I couldn't find them either in my email on the town website or in any other form. Do they exist?
No,
Okay.
I haven't seen those minutes myself. I missed something.
I had to miss that meeting, so I didn't.
it's in the recording news to have been scribed, but it didn't get scribed. So we'll move that to,
Does the recording exist?
yes,
So we can create minutes if we need to.
yeah,
You want me to take a crack at it? I wasn't in the meeting, but I can try.
we had it recorded, right?
I did hit record and it did say it was stored in the cloud wherever it usually goes. I could have hit the wrong button, but I thought I hit the right one. It was my first time doing it, so.
That's okay.
To do,
I didn't realize that was my responsibility, but I can,
I remember it said recording, and then we
Yeah.
stopped it at the end.
okay. Yeah, I found it the wrong button.
Hold on, I can see if they posted the video.
Suzanne may know. Suzanne, do you know?
I'm sorry, I'm trying to get connected for the presentation on septic.
Okay,
I didn't hear what you just said.
special meeting minutes, the recording,
Yes, I did listen to part of that.
the recording was on the
Yeah.
website, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I'm almost.
Yeah, sure.
No.
I remember seeing it too, but I didn't listen to it all.
I think it was the select board meeting.
There was some
It was the
confusion
select board
between-
meeting on the, not the special meeting, I was here for that.
It's on the website. Under select board or where? Planning commission. Has
Special meeting.
huh?
under archived meetings. Alright.
With its prime?
Looks
Looks like it was, yeah.
Okay. But even if you didn't, you can do it off of recording.
Yep, so we'll have a chance to look them over and we can take it to the next meeting or
Sure.
okay, we'll move it to June 9th.
So I did click the right button.
Yes.
All right.
And somehow it gets
Your
from.
result.
How long is the,
We
me see if I started, if it says 58 minutes and 12 seconds.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, how many words?
Oh.
Oh, it doesn't tell me.
Oh, you did say.
I'll have to, I'll do a transcribe the report, all that.
Okay,
It's got the video.
I see, okay. No, I was thinking that if somehow there was a report there, we could, if it wasn't long, we could just read it now and take care of it.
Oh, no, it seems like it's about an hour meeting. It's gonna have some fun.
So can we just move it, we don't need the motion to move it to June 9th, do we?
Sure. You want a motion from the today?
Motion,
Yeah,
move the reading of the special meeting minutes to June 9th. Will hear a motion?
so,
Eric?
Something?
Alright, you want me to work on this, or are you doing that, Clinton?
Oh, I mean, I've never done it before, but it can't be. Just can't be too hard. You've done it, I
We're
guess.
doing it tonight.
Oh.
Have to do it tonight.
No, I mean, but if you want to take a crack at it, you can do that.
Okay, I can do it. Yeah.
Okay. Any further discussion? Let's call the motion's been made, seconded by Buzz.
one thing, okay, go ahead.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Done.
Okay, done.
One thing relative to the meeting minutes of April 14th. Whenever a motion is made or seconded, I believe that the person making the motion in the second should be in the minutes.
Mhm.
I believe I got them all, did I not?
Well, if we look at the April 14 minutes, a motion was made and seconded to approve agenda as amended. A motion was made.
Are those the ones that Lester said?
Lester, yeah, you picked up Lester's.
Okay,
Lester said some, but I've done some that are quite a bit longer.
Yeah,
okay,
And then I guess Lester thought he was still supposed to do it, so he sent a different version. But I sent mine to Michelle, so they're,
yeah, and yours has the names.
yeah, it does.
Wait,
okay, sorry.
His was sent.
No, you're right,
Yes.
but I did see Lester.
Yeah.
Do we need
It was like he sent it right after you sent yours.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm confused, sorry.
No, it's understandable, because I was wondering why we sent stuff that.
so moving, yeah, it's part of my administration, I wanna talk about new business, so. Cause we have no scribe. Per se. And AI does not pick up names. Nor guests.
Well, I went back and I watched the video and then.
Right. You can't just rely on AI, which is what Lester did with his version, he just. Didn't.
Plus I was in that meeting, so I knew most of the rules.
Eric, when we started on the 14th.
That's the special meeting I hit play on.
All right. I think we're good, let's move on to Mike. Mike, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
You're up, bud.
All right.
I made copies of what you sent us, so we have versions to follow you along.
Oh, great. So you have a copy of the ordinance and the maps and such?
Yeah.
Perfect, perfect. Okay. Well,
Can
then,
you updated version of that, because I'm using the one from the website, is there one that I see?
There's one on the table over there.
excuse me.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so I won't share my screen since everyone's following along. So yeah, Wyndham Regional was hired to update the septic pumping ordinance, and never having done this before, we kind of did a lot of research about best practices and, suggested timing, so on and so forth for this type of activity. Not a lot of towns have a septic pumping ordinance, so that bit of research was a little more difficult, but the EPA provides some pretty good guidance for this sort of thing. So that's what I use to update this ordinance, and really the big change is going from 4 years to 3 years, and that's based on their guidance. Other than that, there aren't really many substantive changes in the ordinance. Really, it's about tightening it up, making sure that what we think we're saying is actually what we're saying, right? So there's a couple changes kind of right off the bat that just change terminology really to match with kind of what the town already uses. For instance, there's a reference of the map in the town plan. We just made that more specific to the existing land use map. That's the only one that shows the villages. So it's really the only one that could be used for this purpose. Again, with the definitions, they're mainly the same. We just added a little bit for what a septic tank is. And then let's see if you go to section 6,000, that's the other, I guess, major change, if you want to call it that. And I think it's about the process for kind of how the town administers the ordinance. And I think this is pretty close to what Morgan already does. It just kind of wrote down, this is when we're going to do this, and also suggest that we make, or that you guys make an announcement at town meeting that, hey, this is a thing, this is who you can contact, just so people aren't kind of blindsided by this. Maybe they just moved the town, who knows? And this is also subject to kind of Morgan saying, yep, this is reasonable and acceptable for the town to actually administer. So are there any questions about the document itself and kind of the changes that were made and why?
Just wanted to ask the requirement that at the town's annual meeting, that an announcement be made, is that new?
That is new, yeah.
It is new, okay. Good. What led you to want to include that?
Well, I mean, I think it's important to keep new residents up to speed on kind of everything that's expected of them, right? I think most everyone will know that this is a thing that needs to be done in Grafton, but there's always someone who says they don't know. So I think providing that information to them, this is an opportunity where a lot of residents are in one place, or they're at least paying attention to kind of what the town is doing. So providing that information at that time seemed appropriate. That can, of course, be changed. That's not a problem. If there's another more appropriate time to let folks know, or another method, I'm certainly open to suggestion on that.
I'm not thinking that it needs to be changed or removed, but it's, town meeting, maybe quarter the town voters show up. It's certainly not what I would want as a go-to way of notifying people. And for that, you probably need something like a letter.
Yeah, and Morgan sends out letters every year. And actually, she's kind of waiting on this to be completed to do it for this year. So yeah, this is just one more way in which the town can keep the residents informed.
Do we need
Would
to,
it make sense to have in the enforcement area that a letter shall be sent out? I mean, I know Morgan did her job and is on top of that, but just to have it as part of the ordinance.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just make a quick note of that. Yeah, I can add something, a sentence or two to that effect. Absolutely. There any other questions?
Yeah.
yes,
Mike, could you share with us more about why the rationale for changing from 4-year to 3-year, and what evidence you have to back that up?
That's based primarily on my best practice research. The EPA said 3 years. The
Who
state
said
said 3
that?
years.
Who
Sorry?
said it? Who said 3 years?
Environmental Protection Agency.
Okay.
And that's really if some give a range of 3 to 5, they said definitively 3. Um, so that's the rationale for that change.
Especially if it's a 500 gallon tank, it should be 3 years, not 4. It's stretching it 4 years on a smaller tank.
I did have conversations with some septic haulers. They also they were short of recommending 3 years, but they referenced that time frame in those discussions for what that's worth.
I think this might be a somewhat separate issue to take up with the select board, but if we are to have in this ordinance the announcement of the ordinance in town meeting, it seems to me that any other newly adopted ordinance or change to ordinance also ought to be included as basically an informational of the people at the town meeting, not just the septic. That's my 2 cents. Sure, no, to select board.
I can ask if we can add that to the agenda.
Excuse me.
And Kathy's on the Zoom as well.
Excuse me. Great. Are there any other questions, comments on the text? The attorney is also reviewing this currently for the language, for the references contained in the document as well. Sorry?
You had a conversation with him recently?
Yeah, just today, actually, I was able to get a hold of him. We talked for about 15-20 minutes about it. He already had some ideas and was more familiar with it than I thought he would be. So yeah, I have a call scheduled with him for next Thursday, just to kind of see where he's at, if he has any initial thoughts or ideas.
One thought on just letters going out. The town website, I see sometimes there's little bulletins of updated information that pop up on other town websites. I don't know if Grafton has this, but perhaps there's a way to program it in there so this pops up for a certain period of time, just so there's more of a digital footprint there in case someone happens to not follow the new 3-year rule, and there's a digital footprint saying, okay, it was posted here, it was at the town meeting, and there was a letter that went out. Maybe that'd be an additional thing you could add. Just a thought.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, very good.
There are on the webpage a page dedicated to ordinances and various documents, and this one is on there. It's not called out really in any way, but it is there.
Great.
Kathy, did you have your hand up?
Yeah, I have a question. Morgan does a really good job of sending out agendas to the community. She could send out, I don't know if she sent out this new proposed septic ordinance. Do you know that, Matt, or not?
No, not yet. No, it's just
Okay.
Night, yeah. So far.
Yeah, because she does a good job about sending, she could send a note that it's being amended. It's not approved yet, but at least let's give people a heads up. Or a letter. And it's correct that what you're saying, that there are people that sometimes don't follow that ordinance and we give them letters. But there's new people, and also the second homeowners oftentimes are not around full year to get messages. So a letter to everybody I think is important.
No,
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that can be something that's included in my work for sure. I can work with Morgan to get that done. I would recommend waiting until we have the attorney comments included in there.
That's a good thought. Thank you.
As far as the contact names, I mean, the list that we have here is, I would say over 50% of these are no longer there.
Or 50% of them on the line.
And they're probably, yeah, I was gonna say, probably 50% are in Boltonville Cemetery.
You should.
So using the address as the main contact, and whoever is at that address would be notified rather than a name.
Is that a question for me?
Yeah, I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you go to the maps that are, I hope, included in your packet.
Partial numbers.
Yeah, parcel numbers, yeah. The parcel numbers are here, yeah, but the names aren't.
And those are all on a list, an Excel spreadsheet that I have. I didn't include it just because it's really long. So, but that list exists, and we can use that to get that out.
Yeah, and then another thing for realtors, when they make a sale, that they make sure the homeowner knows that this ordinance is in effect and that they are indeed on a septic tank, not municipal septic. As some have.
Minor typo under section 9,000. May subject the owner to enforcement pursuant to, should be title and not tied, 18. Section, yeah, 613.
Yes. Fourth line down.
Title, yes. Great, thank you.
I guess one part of this would be, to have in this new ordinance, should we bring all the names of the property owners up to date, so that as well as having parcel numbers, we have to start on that.
So the list of owners came from your grand list, I want to say last year's. So it should be as up to date as it can be at this point.
If it's exhibit 1, it wasn't last year. Okay.
I think it was 1999.
Yeah,
That's the date on her, and we not updated that.
yeah, it goes, it's the original ordinance, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
although it's probably 1999.
I'm sure she would update
Wait.
the names, partial numbers.
Yeah, she has.
Changes all the time.
Yeah.
Hold
No,
on,
I
let me share my screen real quick and I'll show you what I'm.
have it that way, just leave it at the parcel numbers.
No, yeah, this should reference the owner of record for the parcel numbers. Because it changes all the time.
Okay.
The master list is downstairs. Along with
Yeah, I'm
the,
sure this is a hard copy. That we use.
Yeah.
Can everyone see the map that's on the screen?
Mhm.
Yes.
So this is will be the new map. Is this what you have in your packet or do you have the old one?
Yeah.
Because
Not that one.
so I think these are using the updated grand list
Yeah, but what's-
information.
You have to work your name as well,
Here, I'll stop.
That's so, that was totally you set up, right, Mike? That looks,
Yeah,
that hasn't changed much.
Huh?
yeah. I mean, none of them really changed a whole lot, but it's using updated
The names up.
information.
What is the total number of residents covered by this ordinance in the current configuration of it?
In the current configuration, I don't have the answer to that.
Configuration you're proposing, I'm sorry. What is the total number of residents of parcels that appear on the updated map?
That's a question for me. I don't have the answer to that.
Okay, would you be able to get us that answer, please?
Yeah, I sure can. Yeah, I just don't have the spreadsheet up at the moment.
Yeah, okay.
And you also have what they want to call the Cambridgeport area. Some of the homes that are along the river.
Hmm.
Do you have a map of that?
Yep.
Or will have an
Yes.
map? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all in here. This is the Cambridgeport area.
Parcel number list, Suzanne, should be pretty close to the numbers.
Yeah, I think you're right, Matt. I just don't see them enumerated. Do you?
No, but
I think it just would be helpful to say X number of residents are covered by, or X number of parcels are covered by the septic pumping ordinance.
Oops, and I actually have I've just found the spreadsheet, so I can give you that right now.
43 on this sheet, see?
Looks like 175 individual entries,
For all three areas?
all three areas, yes, sir.
Thank you.
So exhibit one, septic ordinance, that's gonna be,
So the exhibits are going to be changing. There's now going to be 4. Exhibit 1 is the existing land use map, which this whole thing is based on. And then 2, 3, and 4 are going to be the individual village maps.
and there's one new home in the village.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, and it'll have to be updated yearly in order to capture any new subdivisions that have gone in or any homes that have been built on a vacant parcel. Because not all of these will have homes on it, I don't believe. So that's something that'll have to be kept up.
The thing that's puzzling to me is I don't recall any subdivision applications coming through.
Yeah, I think that was mentioned in a previous meeting that that was an existing lot previously.
Okay,
And so it doesn't have any subdivision for it.
if that's the case, yes,
So it would be lot 99 right there,
maybe.
or would it be that? It doesn't exist. That's where the tennis court was.
No.
So there was another,
That other one is pretty, it's a range on.
Like have another,
I'm very much. Good.
yes, so there, Matt, we had spoken briefly about this, and I think I mentioned it in another planning commission meeting about providing the town with some kind of, mailers, ways to post information. And I've included some of those here. I don't think we need to go into them too much, but I just wanted to make you aware of the resource. Yeah, the EPA puts out all of these, and you can use them as, just informational posters, which these are, and there's a mailer down here. I mean, it's a resource. Use them, don't use them. But I found them helpful when I was kind of first starting this.
I can envision a packet that we send everyone for the new ordinance. These flyers. Contact people of the property, just start off on the right foot here. It's been since 1999, so we're updating the ordinance. Not much has changed. A few housekeeping details and send them the packet, how to care for your septic system.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, for sure to kind of get everyone on the same page in the beginning, or I guess
Steve, how many-
the new
how many-
beginning,
How many were on your list? 100 and something?
175.
Can I have a question on the packet? Will the packet also include what you're not supposed to put in a septic system? What you're not supposed to put down that toilet? That,
There are some examples of
Yeah,
materials
'cause
with that information, sure, yeah.
yeah, I'm thinking of the ones that have short-term rentals. People from the city sink were on a municipal system. It's helpful to have that information for them.
Sure. Does Grafton have any type of short-term rental ordinance or registration or anything along those lines? I
We're-
feel like
we're-
Matt said he was working on it.
We're working on that and we're trying to get our STR adopted. I think we're gonna have some changes, some slight changes to it. But we're working on that. And Morgan's working, along with that would be a registration. So we'll have more information, like who's the manager or who's the owner, who's in charge.
Great.
Yep.
It might be good to include, like, you need to post something like this,
Yes.
in the
Yep.
bathroom or in the kitchen or something along those lines.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Let's see. I don't have too much more. But a couple things that I'm going to be doing next week. I'm going to go to the select board. Technically, our contract ended 2 weeks ago. So I want to get that squared away so I can then handle the attorney review and the adoption and that whole process. Like I said, the attorney's reviewing it currently. Hopefully, we'll have some answers or an idea of kind of where he's leaning next week. Once I have firm copies and changes in hand, comments in hand, I'll certainly come back and incorporate those into the document, and let you guys know when that happens, and then we can get scheduling the vote and doing the approval process and the information and all that.
And Matt, wasn't there also a deadline on payment on a certain date? All those invoices have to be into Morgan or sent to Morgan on the grant?
Was the 22nd?
Yeah, I think so.
For us or to the state?
State.
For the state.
You got yours in, Mike. I saw the Vanessa received payment
Okay, great.
in your office. That leaves Weston and Sampson, that's a different contract. You were talking just about your contract, right, Mike? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, so that's all I've got. If there's any other questions or comments, certainly let me know. I see a hand raised back there.
Just a last thought. Does Morgan have a spreadsheet you have of 175 entries? Would that be helpful to her?
Sorry, to who?
Morgan Wilbur.
Oh, I would imagine it'll be very helpful to Morgan, and she'll use it as the basis for her annual process.
You're providing that to her then?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, yes, ma'am.
So if we had 175, there's 43 between Cambridgeport and Houghtonville, leaves 132 for the village and 121 east, right?
And that's what we used to have.
Well, it's also going up Chester Hill too, so that adds quite a few more than what we did for water testing originally, which was what, 70-ish?
I think so, 120, 100 comes from around.
For water testing? Yeah, but didn't we only do 6 years? How many samples did we actually do? In the 70s?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 60 to 70 now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so That's about right. If you go out 121 east and then up Chesterfield, that adds quite a few more to this.
I think.
The numbers sound about right.
And let's just remind everybody that this was done as part of the Hail Mary save of our grant.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
think this was a really important aspect of it.
The water sampling and this, best we can do at the moment.
Yeah.
And move it forward and keep it. I mean, for future generations, they're gonna have to keep up with something.
Exactly.
It's not testing, if it's not a municipal system, it's gonna be, this testing has to move forward. So, not to add another ordinance, but the water sampling should possibly be considered down the road. And continue Eric's thinking.
Listen to you.
Yeah.
I think I need to put this-
Let's get this out of the way first and then get our current sampling, which, thank you, Mike.
I do see one, and it could just be my eyes, but it looks like section 9,000, the title of it is one font size smaller than the others. It could just be my eyes, but just by looking at it, I don't know.
You guys are better than ours.
I've been looking at it for a minute here. I think it is, but I can't really tell.
That's good school.
It is.
No, it does look smaller.
Okay, Mike, we're taking your A plus, moving it down to an A.
Hey, I'll take it. That's fine. All right. Well, thank you for having me tonight. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, I just wanted to add that the original septic ordinance hasn't really been looked at for years. And this is really good timing that we're doing this because we're looking at it and updating stuff that needs to be done. So it's a good thing. But thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you, Mike.
All right. Take care. Have a good night.
Night.
thank you.
I'll bring up the water testing with Weston and Sampson under old business. Any other discussion on this? I'll have it out. Suzanne, anything else you'd like to add?
Okay.
The ordinance?
No, I think there might be some pushback about the 3 years. I think there might be some questions that I think Morgan will be able to answer quickly about how she's gonna change over from 4 years to 3 years, what's it gonna mean to people who've done it 2 years ago. But I don't think that we need to get into that level of detail in a meeting. I think Morgan will
Yeah.
handle it.
Well, one thing we can tell her, if you argue that, is that, I mean, they're saving their system. If they're gonna wait 4 years and they have a loss of their leach field, then they're looking at major expense.
Yeah,
So follow the guidelines, 3 years, keep it pumped
yeah.
and be safe. It all depends on how many solids are there and how, what's getting broken down and what's not getting broken down. I mean, some systems last forever, don't get pumped.
Yeah.
But not in this case. You can't rely on that guesswork.
I wish there'd just been a little bit more justification and evidence to support 3 years so that we have something to say about that. But I also think you make a very good point, Matt, that look, this is the insurance policy against for otherwise a very huge expense to the homeowner if they have to replace the septic system, so,
And if they lose that leach field, where are they gonna put the new one?
yeah, exactly.
So,
A lot more expensive.
It's just, it's just one more thing to cover your expenses, right?
well,
But that's okay.
and the flip side of that, if they were on a municipal system, they would be paying a whole lot more than pumping their septic every 3 years.
No, I think this was great to get this done. Kudos.
Is there any report on the past pumping on, how much, is really is being found? Typically,
How much, what, I'm sorry,
how much waste is being found in the pumps?
well, you get total gallonage, because I think Gordon gets a report from the septic company, what they pumped out.
Think so.
They haven't,
That's their proof of pumping.
Yeah, but, you know, it's probably not,
I'm not sure what will.
not there, but, you know, there. We pumped a few times before I realized you never had to pump your care of your, what you put in there, and you know. Went down every 4 years and checked, you know, but, before then, you know, so the. People that pump and say, well, you know, there was a little bit of sludge there, and so I think what I was trying to figure out from them is how much relatively solid matter was being found at the bottom of the tank. And they know, you know, they can tell. So I just wondered if that sort of information was taken up or not.
Oh, you should talk to septic tank pumpers, they'll tell you everything they found in tanks, kids' toys, clothes,
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
that's as far as we'll go with that.
yeah, especially when yeah.
Can I just add that I asked Morgan a question about would she know if a septic tank failed, and she said she would from the septic guy that's pumping. They would tell her that that there was a failure. It's just information.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
maybe we have them look more closely at. The performance of the leach field, they can tell if the leach field's plugged or not, and they pump it out. Whether it's been working or not, and if there's a failure. Hopefully you find the right answers from the services that are doing pumping.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, we'll move on, thank you for that, town plan chapter review, do we wanna get into a little bit of that, it's 7:45. You wanna spend 20 or 30 minutes on that?
Well, you know, wondering how we approach this, the first 31 pages, you know. Introduction, land use, history, economy, roads and transportation. I mean, the data needs to be updated, and. In all those chapters, we need to look at the goals, the policies, regulations, again, you know, just. Check them off, and remove something or add things. What I'm wondering is about the, you know, the written description, we find in each of those chapters. You know, previously, Eric was leading the way, and then at the very end, Dave Culver took over, and, you know, this stuff is pretty good. And I don't know how we go about it, do we wanna rewrite these chapters, or, you know, bring them forward with minor changes?
Kind of done a review last year, where we went through a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got quite a few
That-
notes.
I think, yeah, I have highlights on the chapters we've gone through, and I think what you're saying is that they are pretty well done, and, you know, it's the data and minor updates, especially on some of the historical stuff.
Yeah, no, it's the way I was feeling about it. I'm just wondering if that's, you know, are we taking the easy way out, or, you know, is that the right way to go? And my tendency is this is the right way to go, because it's a solid foundation.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you rewrite just so you rewrite, you know, if you have something good, maybe tighten it up and update the data.
Exactly.
I don't think that's being lazy, I think it's being smart,
Yeah,
if you have a good effort already.
Efficient.
And we've talked about, we do need the data updates from the WRC, which are still pending mostly, or.
And then what data updates do we include? Do we have to include them? Whatever WRC submits to us?
Well, they're the best resource. I mean, you could go to other resources, but they're undoubtedly the best place to go.
I mean, one of the things we could do is just ask them to update everything that's in the current plan. Even before we decide whether or not we want each of those and whether or not we want something additional. But we would at least bring that information up to date. And, you know, even this time you see that the data up to date is oftentimes a year old from the date of the, you know, when this was voted in, which makes sense because it's a very complicated.
So the nature of statistical data. You do.
So it happens, and a lot of the data is, you know, if it's coming from a government source and they, you know, update it every 10 years or every 2 years, that's what you have, so I'm not worried about that.
I think it's reasonable to ask WRC. In one of two methods. One would be just a list of the data that we want to have them give us new editions of, which should be comparatively easy for them. And we might even get that without having to pay for it. And the other route is to hire somebody from WRC staff to not only update the information, but try to weave it in a narrative fashion into our town plan. That I think justifiably we should be paying for.
And we use very, very little of the town's money and the planning commission here, you know, in between years, I mean. We spent $1,000 in 10 years, the biggest expense was getting those maps. It's,
Yeah.
1 month or something. So, you know, I don't feel bad with, it's like, okay, if this is gonna cost $3,000 this year, guess what, it's once every 8 years.
I think we actually talked about that when we were doing the budget. When we acknowledged that periodically, that was a requirement, and I think it's in the budget.
Yeah.
You know, for this year to cover, you know, that if needed.
The maps are gonna have to see just the land use map be changed, and then on the flood rate as well.
Actually, yeah, this year, I believe the National Flood Insurance Program maps changed. I don't know if they're finalized, but that was one thing Bill warned us about, is to make sure that we were happy with what they did, because we had a chance to influence them. And once they became law, so to speak, any changes had to go through the usual letter of that variance route, which requires an engineer to sign off. And a lot of these things are in the pocket of the landowner that wanted to have something changed.
There's a LiDAR mapping available online. Have you seen that?
Well, actually, we've got one of these maps up there has LiDAR onto it.
Well, there's something online. I saw Chester looked up something on the Williams River. And I saw a glimpse of it, and it shows the railroad. Track that follows the Williams River, everything. It's detailed. Amazingly. If we could get that looked at for our village and east and west.
Well, all I'm saying, I think it might be that map down there.
Yeah.
If I can find it, unless you can look it up quickly. LiDAR mapping. Here you go. Perfect. Can you bring bring us up.
I know it's on the state website now because when the most recent hearing for the for June's campground down here was being reviewed at the Wyndham Regional Commission. Alyssa Sabetto brought up the map and showed one of the layers, which was a LiDAR resolution layer for the site down there, so it must exist not just in WRC's Jeff Nugent's data, but it must also exist in the ANR base map data.
Well, this is the most updated LiDAR compared to, remember, when they first came up with the river corridors and they didn't take into consideration the LiDAR,
Right.
right? This is showing all the contours, all the embankments, everything. So I mentioned the railroad that goes through, it's even shows I think it shows the old railroad that was there originally, and then
Yeah,
changes in the
I think they're
contour.
1 foot contours, something like that.
I don't know if it's the English or the.
Is that?
Yes, from a distance, it all blends in because it's so.
Right, but if you sort of zoom in on it, the shot that I saw, it was like, wow, it just showed every little nook and cranny of the old railroad and the contour of the stream and the embankments.
Full of controversy. You can see it all through the school all the time.
Is it? How far? Can you zoom in closer? Or does it just get forward? There you go. There you go.
Oh.
Oh, there you go. What's up? Is that, that's what you pulled out again?
It's not where we.
Whoever screenshotted this picture that I saw, it was, wow.
Oh, it does have different layers, you get. Yes, just looks like it's CAD, so. You have different layers that you can filter on. And determine which one to look at.
So can Jeff do that
Oh, yeah,
and map those out so we have a really detailed
well, if
close up of the
he,
river beds?
if he does it to the scale of the whole town, that's what you get, or with it, that, I believe that map is done with lighter contours on it.
Yeah, but it's too far out. I mean, really zoom in so you have sections of,
You wanna cover the whole wall?
you should. Couldn't we?
I mean, that's what we're gonna do,
Could have a wraparound. Of the wall, have a little place for it.
Because a lot of the new LiDAR mapping plays into the whole national.
well, it should. It should, but I'm almost certainly would say it doesn't. Federal, state.
This may have done more than we do.
Yes.
It's another option. I think. And then you probably pick which one to look at in.
I wonder if we can find the dam that's out by the covered bridge. On this.
Very likely, yeah. But your national flood insurance program maps almost certainly did not use the LiDAR data that was done by the state. I'd be very surprised if I did.
Suzanne, Suzanne, did you wanna,
I'll bring up the two issues.
Thank you so much. Okay.
can you find the Kidder Bridge?
I'm trying again. To get zoomed in local here.
Well, the only reason I brought it up was to help us, but if it's not being seen by others.
I'm fairly certain that it isn't being used by the feds. The question still remains, is what the feds have done this last time around better, or at least not grossly incorrect, the way it was before?
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of when I saw this shot of what was sent to me. I don't have it anymore, but I thought of what you said, because it's showing everything nicely. And if they followed that, the river corridor,
Yeah,
we'd have a different,
well, maybe. Maybe. You're having to predict what the Agency of Natural Resources is gonna do with them. They seem to like arbitrary lines.
Kind of weird. You don't always see the bridge.
oh, you see the,
You see the roads.
and is that the dam there? What is that?
Right here.
No. That
Oh,
little,
here, yeah, it looks like a little, weird name.
No, it's about what it amounted to.
can I show Eric that?
If you go out, you can see that's the Kidder Hill Road, but it's hard to
So you can see
get in that close. It's
The raised road,
Hmm.
there's the abutments, the foundations, is that dam? Was it above the bridge?
Southwest. No,
There's another one there.
it should clearly show the bridge. I don't understand why it is not showing the bridge. LiDAR doesn't discriminate. No, it's got the directly branching there.
Or is it because of what you chose for your view? Probably it's not showing the bridge.
Yeah, maybe, let me
Might have
see,
been
maybe
excluded.
change the filter.
The dam was something Pearson. I mean, you could see it from the bridge, but it wasn't very close to the bridge.
Hush. Really. Details out the contours.
Yeah.
The road, there's the elevations of the road, the embankments.
And why do we want to do this?
I don't know, Ryan, why would we? Why are we doing any of this?
We'll see if they full fledged.
I'm just wondering, what's gained by,
My goal is to fight any bureaucracy that's coming after us, how's that?
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, actually. I see what you're saying, now it's still.
Hmm?
Blow up. I'm just looking at that, I've never noticed that before.
Well, that's the whole town,
Right,
we can't pick out little things like that. So, again, what I saw last night and what this person sent, it was like, wow, and it was just amazing to see all the details.
Yeah,
So even a minor flood you'd see where the problems could be, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, okay, well, that's why I was asking.
Oh, they had default map view, and it took me way back up to Tunbridge.
So what's the site? Let's get this right, that site.
ArcGIS stuff,
What is it?
ArcGIS stuff. The list of it. I don't know.
But it's the state site, right?
Yeah.
That's, it's not this,
This is called Vermont Radar Bullshit.
think you'll find that data is pulled into the ANR.
Oh. I was looking for different LiDAR options, and this one had
Something happened to the email I was sent.
It's the massive hidden, but it's the flood size of the track.
It's on another email in my other laptop, that's why I don't have it there.
So what was hidden?
The flood hazard map was the one that's been hidden by Ted. Three, but I mean, part of the idea is taking that map and making it much more detailed
Right.
so that, you know, it actually can be a practical map as well.
Right,
Okay.
and it may be in sections, you might have to say, okay, this is, we'll do it in quadrants or. Even smaller.
Yeah, it can be a series, you know, of maps that add up to. that.
Yeah, here's Houghtonville, and just, it's just two streams that we're looking at coming into the village and then what's going out.
But you've got all your brooks, that you want to take into consideration as well. They're the ones that fail.
Yes, I think they'll show those streams. Imagine they'd be able to see the other stream, you see the contours of where water would
Yeah.
flow.
If you go to the ANR version, you will probably see where they think the streams are,
Hmm.
just on the basis of contours.
Yeah. I just brought that up to start the conversation with the mapping. How many of these maps do we not need to even bother with this time around?
Okay, this is a value judgment, in my opinion, the usefulness of the town plan. Has a lot of value invested into the maps, and it is of significance more than a lot of the verbiage is to people that would otherwise want to know more about Grafton. Yeah, that's just a personal perspective on that.
I agree, I mean. I think it's human nature, the first thing you go to is the visual stuff. You know, the last thing is to have to read it there, right?
Well, do we still need wind, solar? Transportation?
No, that, you know, that was one that had some
Those are
issues.
That's nice.
So that's the LiDAR structures. Which, it's a little weird, but you can see it's kind of, it's a different block.
Yep, you guys said, yeah. Yeah, that's a little bit more of what I saw. It's actually, they had it a little closer.
Well, you can go in farther if you want.
That's a good shot.
Oh, cool tools.
If I had to guess, that's the old dam right there. Whoops. magnified it for you.
Can you finish to come back?
Yeah, it's touchscreen.
Oh, there you go. That's a good look there.
That's.
Chevron and Clayton that one.
Keep the fingers off the action.
And it tells us a lot. I think.
So you could actually cut and paste some of those maps right off that. You'd have to figure out how you do your scale and the house and the.
Which is what Jeff would do, which who said we want some LiDAR mapping.
If you want maps done, you can go to Jess.
Yeah, and they'll charge us for those?
They should. Yeah.
They didn't charge us for the
Oh,
ones that just got
It's
a couple weeks ago.
Was
You
it
do a lot of stuff, grants, but
I think with the LiDAR, it depends on the angle it looks, so the bridge looks a little twisted.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It probably depends on cause I used to work for a company called Vinegar. And they had a stereo optics machine they used to work on. And planes would go over and take photographs. And they would take photographs from two angles and use them to create a digitized map.
Thank you.
Good.
if you go back to, like World War II era kind of stuff. You actually had a contraption that you'd set down on top of a pair of maps. And you could look through and it would give you a stereo kind of view of all the topography. From a flyover like you're talking about, you know, 2 different tracks.
What was it called? It was the top secret bomb site. It's kind of part of that technology.
Norden,
What?
Norden,
Norden, I think, yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Is Kathy still on or we got?
Nope,
No, so we have no one left?
just us.
So getting back to some of these maps, like constraints for energy, blah, blah, blah. Does any of that change or we just keep it the same?
hasn't changed.
So,
You gotta leave it in, it was in there primarily to explain how the conclusions were made for the energy check.
mhm,
I don't necessarily agree with all the conclusions, but
right,
at least they're decent attempts at mapping the resources.
is there anything else we wanna kind of discuss tonight? Put a plan together for future meetings? We're gonna start running out of time.
Well, at what point do we, you know, actually go out and try and hire somebody from regional planning commission? Or are we going to go that route?
I think we should plan on hiring such that they're on board and working for us. Late summer through
This winter,
probably winter.
winter and spring and. Cause we have to come up with a draft by next summer, right?
Yeah,
Well,
Right.
fire draft.
Hmm.
So.
I mean, we can wing it the night before, right? Like, we're pulling all nighter, case of beer.
So the only, I mean, how much do you guys think that would cost to hire them to go through? Because I haven't read through all of it, but just the first couple chapters so far. How many pages is that of the entire town plan to go through and pick out specific data points? My only thought is, since we're gonna have to go through and reread and update it anyway, how hard would it be just to project a document version and highlight and just copy and paste data points as we start to read through it, then hand it off to them and say, this is what we need updated, we'll get it back and just paste it back in. I mean, like you said, you guys have spent less than $1,000 in the last however many years, so I guess maybe money's not an issue, but saving, my mindset always goes to saving money, I guess, so.
Yeah.
This is my.
No, it's a great thought, because, you know, we started making notes.
This is just the, you can see the table of contents for
So 92 pages,
yeah.
Looked like we started, last year going through.
Tables and.
Small flip. Small flip. Yeah, I guess it's not too.
Let me finish, Clayton, we started going through and I've got my notes on paper.
Mhm.
Buzz has some notes on his laptop, right?
Yeah, I just did it in a PDF or I converted it into Word, and was making.
Yeah. And mine are still just scratchings on hard copy here, which is a start, you know, it's like writing a book, start making notes. But you're right, as we get closer, doing the technology method would be great.
Well, like we did last time with that, that me just project it up there, have one person on the computer and just make edits as we go through it.
And that's actually
Exactly.
the method that was used the last time around, when we had that fellow from Walpole.
Chuck.
Working, Chuck, yeah, working for.
He was doing it.
Chuck Wise.
Yeah, it does take someone to start really focusing in on comments and changes and. Yeah, we went through detail to detail, doing the right wording, and I remember we went through other meetings, just word by word, okay, this is not the word we want, let's use this word.
Yeah.
But it had been how many years since the previous town plan?
Well, it was on the right rotation basis. We get stuck in trying to revise the town plan, and it took us about 3 years. So we ran over our statutory limit, had to readopt the town plan, essentially without changes. And while we frantically worked on it to try to complete it.
Mhm.
Um,
And then they threw all the new things at us, 171,
yeah,
all the other acts they were throwing at us, and they're doing the same thing now, it's just,
yeah,
there's more stuff they're gonna keep throwing at it, and. Even the 181, that's probably not over with yet anyway, it's gonna.
The first 31 pages straight. You know, I think it's something we can review directly here, and we can start that very soon. You know, our real discussion, debates would be on the goals and policies and recommendations. But we can go through that, you know. We can do 6 or 8 pages a meeting for the next 3 or 4 meetings and have that out of the way. You know, the education, housing, recreation, government, and those would be relatively straightforward. What I see us needing hard work on is energy, because back then energy, you know, incorporated a lot of the issues that we were fighting about then that are no longer germane. And you know, a lot of the discussion about energy in terms of our assumptions have changed. I'd love to say, you know, done a lot of work since then that needs to be updated. But the rest is pretty straightforward, except for our discussion among ourselves on these goals and recommendations and so on. My sense is, why not get started, you know? Why not tell us that next meeting, we do the introduction, okay? 4 pages. You know, just get it out of the way.
Yeah. So, getting these 91 pages,
Sorry,
91 pages, did you say?
something like that.
Yeah.
We need to get them into a file
Yeah, well,
that we can.
you can take the, like you did, take the PDF, you can just convert it right into a Word document.
Yeah, I have a Word. That's what.
You have no Word?
The other thing too with
I
that
took
is,
the PDF and I brought it in the Word.
you brought it over correctly, but usually when I take a PDF, bring it over Word, it's.
Well, if you do it in even
Really?
Adobe Scan or Adobe Acrobat, now it has, you can edit right in there too. You don't have to even convert it to like a Word document, it has its own system. The other thing with that too is, if we have an electronic version now, we can make highlights and 8 years from now, you don't have to go back, we don't have to read through it all, if we know like the basic structures there, especially in the first couple sections here, like the history's not gonna change at all.
Yeah.
We can highlight the data points that we want updated, and you can go through it all in one session, you don't have to read through like everything.
Yeah.
Again, it's not to take 8 years in the future, but.
Is that too big to send us all in Word?
I don't think so. Worst case, gonna put on a shirt and give you one.
Yeah, at least get
That was
it.
basically I wasn't sure from,
Oh, yeah, we probably can't, I probably am not supposed to do
Jeez.
so we did it before, as far as, and being able to share the documents that we're working.
that. It's a lot easier than,
What you can't do is you can't
sure.
engage in discussions about it
Right,
online. Yeah,
I can find a way to get it to you, from where. Do you want the one with my notes, or you want a clean copy? And my notes are really mostly highlights, where I put a comment and I haven't rewritten names.
Well, if you send it with your
Just
notes,
like highlighted things where I have questions.
yeah, that's all right, and then I can take it and make sure my notes get in there if you don't have them already. Because you pretty much have everything I wrote down. As we were going through, I was writing, you were typing.
And it's 2020-28 town report is adopted by the voters, 1/13/2020, and then I put review in parentheses. So,
Why couldn't you send that link to all of us? We're not discussing it, we just,
and I think you can, it's that we, subsequent to that,
have to get
Yeah.
together.
yeah, it had to be in public when we're talking about it.
yeah, but we can still each do our own edits
Yes,
and then discuss them at the next meeting.
yes,
Yeah, maybe the edits too, I mean, like we did with that 181 letter.
Oh,
We don't need a shared version of it all now, because I'm fearing that it might get a little too jumbled with everyone putting all their own notes into one document. Right off the bat,
Well, we keep it in our own
yeah, and then we
storage,
all
and then we
can,
can.
yeah.
for a meeting, we have one document. On one computer, that only one person's editing in front of all of us, shared on the screen, that's what we're thinking, okay. Makes sense.
If we had to have it all online,
We
we
need
we could highlight each of our notes. In a color that is unique to the person doing the note.
Okay, I'll bring up something that was gonna bring up a new business, but I'll bring it up here now, we're talking about a computer. And administration and so forth, we should get our own planning commission computer. That we can use here for meetings and for what we're doing right now.
Mhm.
It's a computer for the town plan. That will have all the information on it.
What's the benefit?
We have our own computer, don't have to rely on someone else bringing the computer up, we keep it here in a locked cabinet. So it's always at our access. And especially if we're doing what we're gonna do, it's all on one computer.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense, dude, I mean, everything's cloud-based now too, I mean, if we have just, if we had a town planning commission. Word, a Microsoft Word account. We wouldn't necessarily need its own computer, because the document doesn't have to be downloaded on the computer, it can just be on that person's account, or on the board's account. That we only know to log into, let's say, and then we'll just pull it up on whatever computers here.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah.
I know you're doing a lot on your own computer and.
I'm sorry, one more time.
Getting our own computer makes sense, definitely, I think, but. If we're just keeping documents, if the whole point is just to keep documents for the planning commission to have on the one computer. All of it's saved, cloud-based anyway, so you don't really need to have the hard copy downloaded on the computer, we could just open up a new Microsoft Word if we use Microsoft account. with, you know, account name is Grafton Planning Commission, password only,
Yeah, I agree, that's
um,
what
That's probably the simplest way.
that's what I do with my team at work. I have people all over the world, so
So what is that cloud? Is that cloud accessible to the public?
no, it would just be us. So it'd be like in our Microsoft Drive. It's just, we're just making a new Microsoft account, basically, it's free.
Yeah, but as we're doing the town plan,
Mhm.
um,
I think we did it on Dropbox before.
yes,
those,
Same idea.
which was a struggle because it's hard to, we use Chuck's account for the Dropbox.
yeah, I was just gonna ask, does Grafton have a Dropbox account?
No, we used Chuck's. And that was the problem because he had to let us in to the Dropbox to get the information. It was always a hassle. Of course, this is what, 6 years ago now. Technology's a little bit better. The cloud's there now. We didn't have a cloud 6 years ago.
Yeah,
Well, that's effectively cloud. It's just a different name on,
Well, there was,
on the server.
yeah, it was new. Now it's a lot more available.
the only thing I can see being an issue is like two-factor authentication. So when we set up the account, we might need to put someone's cell phone in. Actually, no, because you can turn that off on my Outlook email, so I take that back over. I don't think we would need the dual factor authentication thing.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't see that being an issue. I mean,
But then the open meeting law, does that come into effect on that? If we have this information on the net, is that accessible to the public at any time? After our meetings, whatever we discuss in the meeting,
Whatever we discuss in the meeting.
part of the minutes,
And yeah, it becomes public record at that point.
the only thing that for the new town plan on the cloud could be accessible to the public. But it needs to be.
Yes, have a- yeah.
All right, Gmail, just let me send you that in Word, so you still,
What's that again, sorry?
I just sent you the town plan in Word for me.
Accessible.
It doesn't have my highlighted notes in it, but you can highlight it and just turn that off. Sorry.
Okay, it's not for discussion, it's just for us to review and reference.
Yeah, don't send feedback.
but
I'm okay with what I had in there, because we've talked about it all.
Yes, it's in previous minutes.
Yeah.
But your point of making it public, making it open to the public review. But when it's finalized, I mean, we can just make not a hard copy.
Yeah,
PDF version, and it goes on the website, and then they get printed out and everything. But the public they don't need a version that they can look through as or each meeting we're updating. They don't need that, do they? Because it'll all be shared on the Zoom meeting, I guess. They don't need access to it. Is that true?
It's tricky.
It does, when we were spending three years to revise the town plan, I had somebody from out of town approach me to try to get a copy of basically our working draft, and he got very upset with me because I didn't give it to him. I think once you've taken some kind of verbiage and talked about it and have a document form in the meeting, people should be able to see that,
Okay.
but shouldn't have access to the dump that we're putting our information into in
Yeah.
the cloud.
I mean, at the end of every meeting, we could just download a PDF and update it as draft and then date it and throw it on the town website. So if people need it, they can just look at the PDF, or they just can't make changes to it. Only we can make changes on our master document altogether.
And that's how we did Dropbox. We could make.
Yeah.
Comment, but we couldn't. No, how was it? It was something we couldn't do on Chuck's Dropbox account. We could read it, but we couldn't.
I don't remember that one.
you can lock people out from being there, you can give read access on.
Yeah,
You only edit edit.
It was, right, it was view only.
Didn't we have an early version where every page had draft written across it,
Mhm.
right, every single page?
Yeah, you can do that instead of watermark.
Watermark.
Across the pages.
Yeah,
What's that?
watermark.
You can do that in Word, you can put that in as a
Yeah.
watermark.
Yeah, okay, yeah, and so, I mean, that could be what's posted by us when we say finish the first chapter. Our first attempt. Say we do this next meeting, so we could actually. Put that out versus written draft as of, June 9th, 2026. So if anyone wants to see it, there it is, it's clearly worded.
So is everyone okay with doing it that way rather than, we don't need a computer? I was just thinking we have our own personal, not personal, but our own.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice to
Planning
separate
commission.
things, but this computer's already all set up for logging into the Zoom and all the cameras and the microphones already set up. It might just be easier
And it's also tied into Morgan's email.
to, have that computer. It's there. And then, we'll just we can make a Microsoft. If that's what I want to use. We can use Gmail too, but I think Microsoft is probably the standard.
Now, is this a second computer? Morgan
Yeah,
has
it's
her own,
our primary.
it's her primary,
This one? I don't think so.
it's not her primary.
No.
Okay, so it's,
It's usually sitting on the side of the desk.
and this is the one that's being used for,
Select
Select board
board
as
and
well?
planning commission. Yeah, it's the same one for select board.
It's the town computer.
But it's not the one she normally uses at her desk.
so if we're zooming on that. How are we gonna do our,
We'll just share it. So like what I did last time, I shared my screen on that computer and I was the one typing when I was editing the 181
so
letter.
we're sharing it with Zoom,
Yep. Share it on Zoom so anyone watching the recording can see the changes.
Yeah,
being made at that time.
I could join the Zoom meeting and share that document from my screen. That's what.
Yeah. The other benefit to this too is, let's say Ron's over here on his personal computer. If it's a Word document, he can make changes. It shows up on my computer that I'm sharing over there. So he's making changes over here that's being made to the same document that I'm sharing over here. So, and theoretically, we could all have computers making changes rather than us, verbally telling one person what to change. That's another.
You're assuming I know what the hell.
Well, it's just another.
well, it's good that we move it forward with the new technology, we need to, it's gonna make it faster, easier.
Well,
You gotta be a
let's,
little careful, sometimes you're not stepping on each other when you're.
Yeah, right.
well, let's start this way. If we get to feel that we actually need a computer, we can address that later. I guess, we're hoping to spend money on human resources. And I'd rather think that that's where we're gonna spend our money on, sure, for.
Yeah, I do agree that the WRC is gonna be good. All the statistical information and the maps and all that, that's what they do, so, yeah. Take advantage of that expertise.
So, Matthew Bachelor, right? Bachelor? Matt, Bachelor, yeah. He's willing to come in at any time too, but at the same time, we can start in on things. And he did mention, he'd be available with information. We last spoke to him, what, was it last year already? And he came and spoke with us briefly,
Probably, yeah, sounds
and
all right.
so here we are next year.
But he did say they were still,
They're still working on
they're
it.
still putting them.
Right, so. Right, we work on the easy chapters, and as we get into the fall, hopefully they get their info together and we can start. Moving on.
Yeah. Chapter 6 might be interesting this year too, with education,
Yeah,
but a lot going on there. There's a lot not going on.
yeah, there's. Even. Well, in lieu of time, it's. glad we discussed this a little bit when we segued into a few things that I wanted to talk about.
Well, before leaving it, I'd like to propose that you do the introduction next meeting in the way that is.
On a shared screen.
A shared screen? We do it on that computer? Or we do it on what computer?
Can do it on this one or Clayton's and share the screen. It will show on this one on the screen. What he's talking about is just coming into the Zoom meeting, having one of us
Yeah.
have it thrown up there and then we'll.
That's kind of where I'm getting at with the computer. We're all using, I have my laptops too.
Sure.
And I don't wanna bring them in, I got too many other things on. I don't wanna mess up. I got plans and I got this and that. You guys have a lot of important information on your computers. So we have a computer, planning commission, town plan.
For information on another computer.
Right, so I don't know, it's just a thought, just
But
the,
actually, the real important stuff I have to show on the cloud, you know,
Yeah.
I don't keep my important stuff on my computer anymore. Cause even if you forget about backups, you know, if it just dies on you,
Mhm.
you may lose a day or two, you know, unless you're backing up every couple hours. So, yeah, I tend to be cloud based now.
So the only thing that we'd have to do before, not on Zoom, is we'd have to make an account. Just like at Microsoft, I mean, I guess we don't have to. I could use my personal word, but I think it's smart to get a
planning commission.
planning commission Microsoft account. We just don't want to make it when we're recording because of the passwords out there for anyone who watches the recording. So that's just one aspect that we have to think about.
And then use SharePoint or something.
Yeah, we'll just make Microsoft account, planning commission, that's the name of it, Grafton Planning Commission. And then we'll make that account will make a Word document, which is just uploading the town plan into it. And then on the Word document, share it with your email, my email. And then so we can all access it, but this is the only account that shares it on the screen, let's say, and that's the account, for now, that's the only account that's making changes altogether, and whoever's on their computer is the one making changes. Yeah, we'll just keep it simple like that, I think, would be my suggestion.
Okay,
Sounds good.
can you help us set that up?
Yeah, I can make it an account, that's the problem issue.
We'll make it Grafton, Vermont.
Yeah,
Yes,
There's a lot of Graftons up there.
good point, yeah. 05146, let's call it 05146 planning commission.
I can do that.
Uh,
And that is good because then if, like, you know, we're not on a computer, that it can just get lost.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want it on my laptop because Luke,
Yeah.
I have enough time to keep track of business stuff that we've got all on the cloud now. It's like, okay, we've got like 4 or 5 different backups with
Yeah.
all our accounts now. I'm learning it. I get some good staff, but know it inside out, but it's.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, yeah, you said you implemented a new software right recently.
yeah. Service autopilot.
Yeah.
Which is Explore.
Okay.
You've heard of it? I have.
I've touched on that, I know.
So Clayton's gonna get us set up. Ron, you mentioned next meeting, June 9th, chapter 1,
Well, the intro.
intro.
Yeah. There are 12 chapters and there are 12 appendices, so there are 14 packages for us to deal with one another. But I think half of them would be able to deal with one meeting each, you know.
Yeah, sort of straightforward.
So. And if you're like me, you put off the tough ones to the end.
Okay, so we'll add that June 9th. And let's see, anything else? You good? And move on to old business. The 181 letter was successful. It was responses. Have you seen the responses?
Yeah.
Hashem was the first to respond, which is great. The
Yeah.
governor sent something today, or his staff
The
sent something
governor,
today.
yeah. Oh, it's great. Just a couple of things. You know, the land use response, that was AI written for sure, which is fine. But we didn't date the letter.
Yeah, I was.
Well, when it's sent by email,
Back and forth about that.
when it's sent by email, the email date is your letter date.
Yeah, well, you know,
It
the
should-
letter
it
to
should
the
be there.
governor's office, that
should, yeah.
So you're right, for,
But, you know, even sending the email had the date, but the letter doesn't, but you know, that's fine, you know, no one's called us out on it, so. Well, I think the AA letter did mention it, but anyways.
isn't the email date
But
quote unquote, official?
I thought so.
Yeah, cause I don't date, like, when I send out a contract, I don't date them anymore, it's just, it's going by email, it's, here you go. But you're right,
it's
I
not
used to
like,
date them all the time,
it's
yeah.
not like it has legal standing, it's just, you know, it's unfortunate,
Yeah.
that's fine. We're doing too many things. I wanted to raise the request that we ask the select board. And you as well as the chair of the planning commission. To forward that letter to each of the adjoining towns, asking them to consider joining us and. So go to Athens, Chester, Wyndham, Townsend. I think as of today, there are 34 towns that have submitted formal protests. And, then keep the ball rolling.
If you wanted all towns, you should include Rockingham.
Yes. So how?
Yeah, did Rockingham actually touch Grafton? Because I'm sorry. Yeah, absolutely.
Do we need official approval from the select board for that, or can we just say?
Well, I would suggest we do it the same way that the letter would go out. Just the attachment goes out dated this time of our letter. But a very short letter to the planning commissions and select boards of each of these developments. That you and Kathy would sign again, just, just a few lines, just saying, hey, please consider joining us in this important effort. The issue is not solved completely by any means. Just a couple lines.
So we send them a copy of our letter with a cover letter.
Yeah. Asking them to join us in this effort.
You wanna make a motion and we can discuss it further?
Sure, I move that we do this.
And request the select board do this.
I would do that. There was a
How did we do it last
There's a
time?
little turmoil.
Yeah.
The select board, when, at first and I told them, I said, no, the planning commission is not going around the select board. The letter's gonna be submitted to you for review. But there was all kinds of back and forth, chatter with concern of the planning commission, sending, letters for the town on their own recognizance. And, so, yeah, I think it's a good idea to submit it to the select board with a request to send it.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think that even if there wasn't a legal issue in terms of months.
Yeah, and that's
I
kind of what
don't
I
think
told.
we should ever do that. We're not, unless somehow you lead the select board in some direction that we have to fight you tooth and nail with, we speak to the select board first.
Yeah. But I probably fanned the flames a little bit because I did some research and, the planning commission in certain areas, can make statements on zoning and land use. But I said, well, we're not doing, we're coming to the select board.
Exactly.
So,
That's what. Solve those problems before they ever rise. And Eric sent on the information from the statutes, I mean.
yeah, much
Pretty
appreciated.
clear,
Yeah,
appointed board, so we
Bill
don't.
Kearns is sending all that information.
So the motion is request request the select board send a letter
Just
to,
for information and
yeah,
invite them to join us,
To each of the
adjoining town.
town select boards and planning commissions, I would include the planning. Just, they're sending it to them for their. And they will see that, you know, it was signed by both, you and Kathy, so.
so recommend. Select board and planning commission send a letter to
The select board.
The select
Okay,
board's
recommend-
letter.
select board send letter to adjacent
The
towns.
select board and planning commission to the adjoining towns. 5 adjoining towns, I don't think about it as 4. What do they share, about 200 feet? Not that, yeah.
You wanna write this out, Ryan?
Geez, I never think about that, but what an idiot I never ever think about walking down this street. You
Well,
know, to us.
it goes in and out of the Cambridge Fort Road here. But it doesn't have any settlements along it, and it goes up through here where, Rockingham has their town forest.
Yeah.
Which is, has an access point off from
Did
the.
you get all that as the motion?
No.
Alright, so I think it's the planning commission requests the select board send the Act 181 letter to the planning commission and select boards of the 5 adjoining towns and invite them to join us in supporting the similar actions.
Excellent.
I said
I've
that.
got all that, but not so eloquently, thank you. So you motion,
Yeah.
Good.
Well, I.
Are you-
Ron second.
okay, you motion, you
Ron
you cleaned
second.
up the motion.
Said
Ron
it very
second.
well,
Okay.
I'm seconding.
All right, all those, any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, so moved. All right, thank you for that. Takes care of 181, there's a couple of other things related to acts, one of them is, I think. Someone mentioned 325. That's 325,
Is that the one that's rolling back to
Yeah.
be in the world rule at least
Yeah.
temporarily?
yeah. It's extended to 2030. Tier 3 implementation though is now proposed to take effect in 2028. Is that correct?
I thought that they were rescinding them all together and having to, start from scratch on
Well,
tier 3 and.
What's the date of that?
this is, I just got this, yesterday, I looked it up. Vermont S325 is a legislative bill that proposes adjustments to Act 181, which modernizes the state's land use law, Act 250. The bill focuses on regional planning and the jurisdiction of Act 250, aiming to enhance community engagement and streamline housing development.
Am I missing something? I thought that there was an amendment proposed that passed that simply said, you know, tier 3 and road were gone.
It doesn't read that way, does it?
No,
So the key provisions of S325 delays in implementation, natural resource protections, bill extends the deadline to implement certain natural resource protections under Act 181, i.e. the road rule deadline to 2030, tier 3 implementation now proposed to take effect 2028. And then criterion 8C deadline updated to 2028. I have no idea what 8C is. Housing development adjustments, interim housing exemptions, the bill extends and broadens these exemptions through 2030, including subdivisions and mixed-use developments. Priority housing projects, this program continues to encourage private investment in affordable housing in designated growth areas. And then regional planning enhancements, there's planning flexibility, communities can opt into tier 1B status outside the regular update cycle, allowing for more adaptable planning.
Buzz, can you bring up what actually was passed out of the House?
Vermont Digger says. S 325 was amended in the House Environment Committee and on the floor to repeal, not just delay tier 3 and road rule.
Yeah, it does say repeal in the story.
Yeah, that's what
The
happened.
House passed unanimously on or around
I
May
think
7th.
originally it was a delay.
with
but-
repeal.
Yeah.
That's,
Okay, so this is old
Yeah.
information?
that's old
Okay.
information, cause then the fight was over whether or not to include
Okay.
Act 250 lands under the 30 by 30 designation.
So legislative status
Go anywhere.
as of May 7th, which is just Friday, Thursday? Is that what it says in that?
It says May 7th.
Yep.
Yep.
So 325 is passed the House.
Yep, it's sent back to the Senate.
Uh,
With the amendment. That isn't on your printout there.
Well, this says it's passed the House after being read a third time and it's progressing through the legislative process. The bill is designed to ensure that while housing development is encouraged, natural resource protections remain a priority.
But they, as Clayton read, they passed the amendment, actually do away with tier 3 in the road. That's gone to 325 now as it moves forward.
Okay. Act 70. I don't know if I should read this or not, but to do with Act 59.
Give us the gist. I don't know
Yeah,
what that's referring to.
well, the Act 59 bill aimed to ensure that 50% of Vermont's land would effectively become undevelopable by 2050. Knew that,
Undeveloped.
yeah. With 30% targeted by 2030. Under this version, future generations of landowners would lose the flexibility to adapt their land to changing economic or agricultural realities. This is a kind of an editorial. But goes on to say, sitting in the House Environment Committee is H70 that would recognize and include the work intergenerational families have already done to preserve Vermont's Green Mountains and working landscape through current use. Does it say where Act 70 is at the moment?
Now, there was a failed amendment to 325. To include, land use.
Current use.
The current use, excuse me, land in calculating whether or not you're that, 30 by 30 and 50 by 50, which you would, because there's so much of it in current use. And that was voted down at long party lines.
Failed on the Vermont House in February 5th. Yeah, just standing for this session.
H70?
Says it's.
It says that effort failed.
Yeah.
But the issue remains
Yeah,
important.
we're gonna find out this fall what's possible going forward. It's not possible.
Yeah. So these are things I just pulled out, just looking up what's going on here, and you find this other. So basically, X70 support versus Act 59 ideology is how I wrote this out. And it was taken from a editorial. Um, I think that's it on those. But somebody had mentioned 325. I can't remember who mentioned 325.
I think Peters was the one that brought it up.
The repeal,
Well, yeah, when did he mention that?
he was here at the last of the regular meeting.
Was it at the select board meeting or was it here?
He matched it in both, I think.
Mention it.
That's why I had it on my mind, and when I saw something else on 325, I looked it up, and that's why I printed that. Now. So it's kind of a moot point at this point in time?
That is, yeah.
Okay.
And we still haven't seen what the Senate's gonna be doing of it.
Yeah. Real quick, Weston and Sampson progress report. I still haven't seen a progress report. I wish Kathy was still on because. Lee, who's doing the water sampling, promised us a monthly report. We have a meeting Monday?
Do we?
Yeah.
Yeah, be next Monday. Let me see if I can get him to do a report that he can present at the select board. Or Kathy can add it to the agenda, maybe,
That would be best.
the water sampling, where they're at. As far as I know, it's still just 4 samples. He was supposed to send letters out and make some phone calls, and we haven't heard anything more. A little discouraged with Weston and Sampson at this point.
Yeah. They're gonna run through their money pretty soon as well.
And we're gonna run out of time. Last thing I had originally talked about Conway School and their work. They were gonna do a presentation for us. But apparently they're all through and the presentation is being put online, and Chris Campany sent me a note that, he's gonna put it up for us to view. And the Grafton work that they did is gonna be part of this presentation for the world to see. So, we'll be famous, I guess.
Sure. What is it?
The flood resiliency,
I know, but
Yeah.
what is it they're doing?
Hmm?
What is it that they're doing?
the Conway School,
Yeah.
they already did it.
I know, but we've been talking about them, for 3 or 4 meetings and I never quite figured out what they were going to be doing first.
All I know is
They gotta watch the.
one of their projects was to move the library out of what they considered the floodway. Because there's valuable information in the library that needs to be saved. So they're gonna move it to the ball field. It's all hypothetical, you know,
Cool project.
school project, yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna ask for a project.
Yeah, these are graduate students, by the way.
Really?
It's not an 8th grade song, but,
Yeah.
that's the one thing I got from them was moving the library.
So is that a link that they're gonna put up for us to, on our own time, we can watch?
I think so, yeah. It would have been nice if they could have come and talked to it, because they were excited about it when we
Okay.
talked to them. And Buzz, you and I met with them the last time they were here,
Yeah.
and it was nice to meet them. They were, 3 good kids, and not kids, they're, well, they're
Older than me.
older adults, they're pretty.
So,
I
maybe late 20s.
think they're more in their 30s,
Really?
yeah.
Really?
Oh.
Cause one went to school with a friend of mine's son and he's in his 30s.
Okay.
Liz, yeah. Um,
What's the graduate school part of?
the Conway School? It's a. What is it? As far as I know, the school was founded by. Conservationists. To do. Good things for the world. And it's a nice school.
Where are they located?
In Northampton.
Also, they're part of the Five Sisters of UMass and so on, maybe.
I don't know if they're one of the Five Sisters, but.
No, not that they're in it.
No.
Not that they're one of them, but, you know, that whole agglomeration.
Yeah, it's kind of a conservation
Colleges and universities.
college.
UMass has a campus, their main campus at Amherst.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
wish I knew more about it, but, so this was their. I guess they're graduate, I'm pretty sure they're graduate studies. For these three.
Okay.
We talked about the computer. As far as administration, I knew I was gonna be late today and I asked Morgan if she could have the computer up here. Was it up here? Yeah. She claims that it needs to be put on downstairs in order to get one.
She had it plugged in. They
So-
charge them better.
I don't know why we can't get it to come up here for our meetings turned on. With the Wi-Fi.
So it doesn't like to connect to Wi-Fi from up here?
Apparently.
Connected right now.
You've done it before. I've done it before. Started it up here and it gets on.
Well, I started up here today. It wasn't turned on down there. It was just plugged in.
Yeah.
Wasn't open up.
So my point is that summertime, I'm gonna be running late getting here.
Yeah.
So. And
If I'm here early, I'll.
I know, thank you for doing that, but. Someone's gonna grab it, get it up here, get set up. If that could be part of the administrator's duties for us once a month. I would appreciate it. Am I asking for too much?
Are you asking one of us to do it?
I'm just making a
No,
point.
no,
And I'll. Who do I bring it up with? Do I bring it up directly with our administrator, the select board,
Personnel committee,
personnel committee?
Kathleen, then.
Cause I must say. When Michelle was here, she had the computer up here, it was on, everything was printed and on the table. For the past couple months. And
Well, the policy, those were up here and that envelope for Clayton was up.
alright. Well, just, for the summer months, I'm gonna be getting here late. I should be on time, but I won't be here early enough to get things set up and. Helpful if we can. Get that added in. That's all I got. You got something else?
Yeah.
From new business?
Um. Part of my, conversation with Suzanne the other day, which was basically. Centered around what the WRC is, what it does. Where it's been, where it's going. He asked me to. Bring the subject up. For our consideration. A couple of things. First was, Matthew Bachler. Was here. I believe with the original intention of talking about what the new regional plan was and introducing that to us. And the presentation morphed into a almost exclusive discussion of Act 181. And she thinks, and I agree with her, that we should invite Matthew to come back and talk about the new regional plan. And explain what it is, what's different about it than the previous regional plan.
Are they ready to present that?
I think they would, and we really should give people a heads up on this. And as soon as we could probably do that well, would be to get it into the June edition of Grafton News. If we choose to do this. So I just think it's a good thing to do. We could do it at a later date. The Wyndham Regional Commission is proceeding down the route towards final final edition of the new regional plan, and part of their mandate is to have outreach to all towns involved. So it's something they're prepared to do and should do. And it shouldn't get bogged down in Act 181.
At the time we had him here, Act 181 was very
Yes,
important.
I
their
don't
plan.
say it was inappropriate to have had him concentrate on that. I'm just saying that the overall discussion of the entire regional plan hasn't happened so far. And
It's because of 181.
well, it's that's a very small aspect of the whole regional plan. It was very important to us, and I understand why we wanted to do it at that time. But going forward, we really should have a discussion, presentation of what the whole revised regional plan consists of.
Yeah, no, I agree, you know, they're asking, putting something in the Grafton News for June. And asking Matthew for the June 9th, and it makes sense. We don't have, you know, at this point, I'm not seeing that we'll have any particular major issues that take up our time in June. You know, we've got ourselves the introduction for the plan. Updating on any thing going on with you know, Weston and Sampson folks, and but that won't take much time. So yeah, let's go ahead and do it sooner than later. It'll help us going forward as we go through the plan.
Do they have a plan?
They have a draft plan, yeah.
Okay.
And the draft plan should be made available to the public. Probably posted on our website, or at least a link to the plan on the WRC's website, so people can see it.
It's available now?
Supposedly, yeah.
Is there a way of getting that sent to each of us?
Sure.
That could be done, that would be nice.
So we need a motion on this to get into the Grafton News, and who would write up the blurb to do the advertising on.
Would you like to do it?
Well, I like to, probably I wouldn't like to do it, but I could do it.
Would Suzanne do it?
Oh, she probably would. I think it's more appropriate that one of us does it.
Yeah, it should come from the board. That should. Well. You want to make the
What do
motion?
you want it to say?
a discussion, with an explanation from the Wyndham Regional Commission about what the proposed new regional plan is comprised of.
I'd throw the word draft in there.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that's good, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Refreshments will be served.
Light refreshments.
Tickets on sale now,
Sure.
$5 to anyone who shows up.
Well, we never know.
Yep,
Well, it'll be part of our regular meeting.
yeah.
So you will ascertain that Matt will be available then first and then go forward.
Right.
The June 9th, yep. I could shoot him an email if you want. And then you take care of the advertising.
Okay. Would be good to invite the select board to join us.
We need more refreshments. Jeez. Clayton, you're in charge of refreshments.
Yeah. In terms of the advertisement, do you just mean what do you mean, just like a poster or something that will go out via email or?
No, I was thinking of something more like, a paragraph in Grafton News, News and Brief area, just to announce what we're doing.
You got a path page in? It's budget. Alright, I'll see if Matt's available, I'll send it out tomorrow, and then. I'll CC you on it, and then we can CC us back and.
Yeah, and, probably include Buzz. If
Yeah.
we're going to, have the select board invited, it would be kind of nice to bring it up under new business and select board meeting.
What's the deadline for the paper?
It's usually a few days before, the end of the month, so somewhere around the 25th or so, but I don't.
The June, I mean, her paper is gonna be coming out. First,
Sorry?
is the paper gonna be out in time?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, it will be.
It'll be out that week before?
yeah. It'll be
First,
out by
second,
the
you get
first
the-
or the second.
Yeah. Okay.
It'll be a full week ahead.
Alright, any other new business?
Yep. Are we all agreed that that's?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, did we motion that?
I think it should be a motion.
Okay, go ahead,
I'll move it.
alright, I'll second it. Any discussion?
Aye.
All those in favor, aye,
Okay.
opposed, okay.
All right. Sort of a good segue into the other issue that, or observation that Suzanne made, and I think is valid. That it would be good for the, planning commission and select board to have, a more enhanced, avenue of communication. That would be, she wants it on a periodic basis. I'm not sure that that's necessary, but if the, informing of the select board of what we're planning and what we're discussing is, important, as well as the select board letting us know what they consider our business to be important, to be considered. But it's just the liaison. We didn't have Buzz here. It would be worse, and then there've been times in the past, but the select board is just like its own separate ship sailing ocean over here and a select board over here, so. Having a more robust means of communicating with one another is probably useful. That's the gist of what you wanted.
Where's the problem?
I don't think there's necessarily any problem. I think we're doing pretty well, personally.
Yeah, I have been kind of a back shedding lives and lately. Being in both meetings, they will ask me when there's a question on the planning commission, I'll turn around and say, well, what? So I'll give them an update and vice versa, yeah. I don't know if that addresses.
She can go to the meetings, minutes?
We
Recording?
can direct you at the end of each meeting to forward to the select board, anything you think appropriate for them to know.
Well, I just did, I'm gonna tell them about the WA.
They're also welcome to come to our meetings. I'm glad Suzanne was here tonight.
And you could ask them to direct you to tell us anything.
And actually Kathy attended part of this meeting.
Yeah.
Two select board.
So I don't think anything is broken.
Then don't try and fix it.
That's very true.
It's,
And think of anything that would make it better, then perhaps that would be useful.
I will give my comment at this point. I'll keep it to myself. And that can go on the recording.
Well, it was a specific crossover with the Act 181 letter and you and I are both attendance, so. Yeah, I think that is always an option for that cross attendance.
And then you get too much communication going on and you get yelled at for that. So. I'll leave it at that. There's a better way. Better pay. Glad to address it.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Sure.
9:15. All those in favor?
Hey,